welcome everybody to another episode of Two Brothers, Same Mother. The Cheek, of course, we got AJ here as well. And lots going on, man. First and foremost, we the Super Bowl is set, so congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who could have saw that the Chiefs would repeat and Tom Brady would be back at the Super Bowl, except everybody in Vegas who made them the top two people to do that back in August last year. So
right.
very
Pretty predictable.
Obviously the stories in between all that, but the big story is that the Eagles have now their fifth coach since Jeffrey Lurie has taken over.
Yeah.
And it is Nick Siriani.
Nicky Siriani. Hey, little Nicky.
Yeah.
From up the block, little Nicky.
Right.
He had the sister with the big tits.
All right, yeah. You say that to all those 30-something. Remember, all the coaches are younger than you now. They don't talk about their fan.
Yeah. But listen, they all about $150. I think I can handle them.
Listen, they not all together, man. They run quick.
Yeah. Well, that's why I have a 6-foot little brother and a 6'3" son, so I'm good.
I'm good. My little brother and my son both played offensive line. What's up?
Who knew growing up, right? That when we watched ECW, quick ECW reference, that I would be the Guido of the FBI. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like me, you, and AJ. I'm the fucking Guido. You know what I'm saying? I'm the short one. Yeah, fuck.
Oh, he went. Good God, that's damn near 30 years old.
You know what I mean?
Shit. Your son does walk around like he big Cass, and you kind of talk like.
It's definitely listen. When we walk around in the gym, we are definitely big Cass and Enzo. I'm definitely the talking one. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's get into the coaching hire. There's been a lot of stuff that's been broken down already, but it's a lot of like reaction and rah. We're going to kind of trying to dive in a little bit deeper into some facts, because the big thing is a lot of people have been saying, and it's very, very true. He's very much unknown, which is a pattern that we've seen from Jeffrey Lurie.
Right.
Ray Rhodes was never, as a matter of fact, none of his coaches that he has hired were ever head coaches in the NFL. Ray Rhodes, what's that?
I said, or to add to that, were never head coaches in the NFL, or had the only interview they actually had with the NFL team was with the Eagles.
Right. Yeah. Like, and see, it's interesting because Ray Rhodes was a long-time assistant. Andy Reid had never been an offensive coordinator, but had spent a lot of time with coaching quarterbacks.
Favre.
What's that? With Favre. Yeah.
Favre.
And Favre and the backups ended up being starters everywhere. Then you have Chip Kelly, who was, the college phenom. Doug Peterson, which I still believe, and people can say what they say. Eagles got lucky with that one. I feel like they kind of ran out of options for their coaching search because two people turned them down, and they were doing Andy a solid. But we've discussed that where,
Yeah, that was the ultimate thing where people don't think, where a lot of people out there just think it's pure talent that wins. But it's amazing when the coaching staff is gelling and everybody's on the same mind, and the team, everybody bought it. Like the coaching staff, that everybody just all saw, like, you get what I'm saying? So it's amazing when camaraderie, that's the word I'm looking for.
Right.
And it was camaraderie from, actually, even from Howie all the way down to the guy that, just makes $50,000 a year holding the wire to the headsets. Like, it's amazing.
Everybody was on the same page those couple of years.
It's amazing.
And then, of course, now we got Nick Siriani, which is interesting because a lot of people try to compare this Nick Siriani hire to Doug Peterson's hire, because there was word that Brian Daboll turned down the Eagles, which is not necessarily true. He just pulled himself out of the running in general. I think he had his eye on a particular job and didn't get it. There is reports, which we don't know if it's true or not, that Robert Saleh was going to be offered the job, and he chose the Jets over the Eagles, which, to be honest with you, as much as a dumpster fire as the Jets are, they are one of the top 5 teams with cap flexibility and have the number 2 pick in the draft. Like, and you're in New York. Like, that's not as bad as people make it out to be. People talk about the Jets like they're the Browns, which still shout out to the Browns. They're not the same old Browns, but
Yeah, that's no longer a joke anymore. Like,
right. Well, for one season,
for one season,
we'll see if
yeah.
they we hope they continue it. It's good to see the Browns good because, truth be told, the Browns' glory years, I was still in diapers.
I remember them years, man, when they had Eric Metcalf and all those guys, man.
Think about it. I mean, the
fun.
last time they were really, really good. Well, I was out of diapers by then, but it was like 88.
No, they had a couple good teams in the early 90s, like 94, 90, I think it was 94.
94 was the last time they won a playoff game.
Right. That 94 team was actually pretty good.
Yeah, with the Bill Belichick guy they fired because they thought.
Yeah. Who Baltimore fired.
Right.
When he came over. Good job, Art Modell.
Hey, well, Art Modell has 2 Super Bowl rings, so.
Nah, he has 1. He was dead by the second one.
I mean, they still gave it to him. He might not have been alive for it, but
they sat one next to his urn.
It is what it is. Shout out to Joe Flacco. But my thing is that I think that the Eagles, and I'm surprised a lot of people are missing on this, the Eagles this time, more than most, actually are following a trend of getting kind of a young guy who has a interesting offensive mind, that has relationships around the league already, much like Sean McVay and Zach Taylor, and I don't know the name of the coach, but the new Chargers coach that's there. Like, it's part of that young guy movement. But I wanted you just to talk on that, on how you see the Eagles hire as far as the thought process, how you saw how Jeffrey and Howie went about it.
I started, okay, so at first I was just like, all right, they just looking for a young dude, blah, blah, blah. He wowed them. Frank Reich 2.0, blah, 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 right? Because everybody kept saying, oh, Carson was wrong, 2.0. So the more I listened to this, but I would say with this coaching hire, more than any coaching hire with the Eagles, like, I really, like, read stuff on Twitter, read articles on other things, listened to audio about what other coaches said about them, players, things like that. And the more I listened, my whole mindset of, oh, they kind of, like a lot of Eagles fans, they wanted a puppet, they wanted a Reich 2.0, this is all about Carson. All that shit went out the window. This dude is the prototypical of what I enjoy out of coaching, what I enjoy, what I think a coach should be. The one narrative that they all said about this guy was he likes to teach. He highlights the player's strength, whether it's receiver or quarterback, because those are the 2 things he really coached, and minimized the faults. You know what I mean? Like, kind of hid their faults away and got them to work on that, to improve on it. And I love that. And then there was this one, I can't remember the receiver's name, so forgive me, but it was on the Colts, right? And it was just like the only thing he could really do, he was struggling with route combinations, right? This receiver. But he was really good on the run blocking on the perimeter, right? So they said that he started noticing that. And he was just like, how do we do that? Kind of like how we became very basic. Oh, such and such is on the field. That means we're going to run. Such and such. You get what I'm saying? Like, so what he did which this is coaching. This is, oh my God, I enjoyed listening, hearing this. And he basically said how we could flip this and make this dude to get open to get a receiver. Okay? So what happened was he started creating routes for this dude to look like he was going to go block, because that's all he did for a couple games. Boom. He go out block. Then all of a sudden he would come off curl route, and they would set screens up for this dude.
I think you're talking about Paris Campbell, but I could be wrong. Number 15.
Maybe. I can't remember the guy there, but it was like, when I was listening to that, I was like, oh my God. Like, That's awesome. Like that's what I want to hear. I want to hear a coach that's going to be like, hey, all right, we have a 10-person or 11 personnel and a single back, and normally when we do that, we'll do two crossings with we'll do a cross with the X and the Y, and then the Z, and then the Z will do a comeback, right? But then off of play action. But then he'll flip it when teams are starting to, okay, this is what they do. Then he'll flip it and do that the same formation, but then play action, and then have the running back chip, and then almost do like a route, like a middle screen, and then he'll do it again, and like he just out of one thing, kind of like a McVay. They said he likes to do like 5 or 6 different things combination out of just one look, which I fucking love. I love that.
What's crazy to me is that just sounds like basic game planning.
It is. It's a miracle, right? That people are actually saying, oh, wow, this guy's really good because this is what he does. It's coaching. It's coaching. It's getting the best out of your things. And I'm not trying to knock Doug, but it was obvious that Doug was so, like, it was a lot of coaches, so it's not a Doug Peterson thing, but a ton of coaches have this thing. Okay, this is our staple. This is what we do. This is what works. This is how we're going to run it. We're not going to deviate from this. This is what we're going to do. Maybe add a wrinkle here too, but this is, you know what I mean? And it becomes stale, it becomes vanilla. And I mean, how many players left the Eagles, okay, over the last 2 years? And one of the biggest things you say it is, this isn't 2017. This isn't last year, Torrey Smith broke down film. I forget on what show, it may have been like NFL Network or something like that, and broke down film and was talking about legitimately, these are the same routes. These are literally the same plays that we called in 2017.
Well, and I wanted to break down a couple of things too, because a lot of people, will do kind of, I don't even say lazy narrative. They're just lazy about it. You don't know much about them, so you don't look into it. And they depend on your radio host, your people that write on for newspapers, your TV hosts to kind of do all that work for you.
Right.
And with that being said, I mean, we're not that type. We and there's a lot of Eagles fans that will look into what is this dude about, because we're passionate.
Mm-hmm.
So what I know about Nick Siriani is that Nick Siriani has led not one, but 2 quarterbacks to be comeback players of the year in Phillip Rivers and Andrew Luck, and had Jacoby Brissett 6-2 before he got hurt. When it came to coaching quarterbacks and being an OC, okay? Not to mention, being an OC, he was offensive coordinator this year when Phillip Rivers wasn't winning comeback. But working with QBs closely, he has helped rebuild and highlight quarterback strengths.
And look at the receivers that he helped. Keenan Allen. Like, you know what I mean? He was a receivers coach and when they were the San Diego Chargers. And those receivers, if you remember, even with Phillip Rivers, man, you know what I mean? Because I think he started off in San Diego as a receivers coach, then went over to coach Rivers at San Diego too. And one thing I'll say, wherever the 2 teams he's been with, the offenses have been dynamic.
Well, he started his NFL coaching career with the Chiefs in 2009, which...
Yes, as an assistant, yeah.
Yeah, which in 2009, would that put him with... oh, man, I can't remember his name. And that's a shame on me. Our Super Bowl...
Alex Smith.
No, our Super Bowl coach from 1980.
Vermeil?
Was Vermeil there in 2009? I mean, I think
so.
It might have been with Vermeil. Vermeil might have given him a start. I don't know who the coach was in 2009. I mean, forgive me.
I can't think off the top of my head either.
Or maybe it was Romeo Cornell. I know Cornell was before Reed, and Reed got there, 2014?
Reed got there in 2013. His first year.
So maybe it was...
Maybe Cornell.
Maybe Cornell's first year. But here's the thing. Beyond that, so, all right, we got a head coach that could rebuild QBs. Now
And
we
hold on,
got
hold on, real quick. Rebuild QBs and rebuild receivers, right? And which was two of our biggest fucking things that we couldn't get things to get open. You get what I'm saying? Um, and I'm sorry because I'm really excited about this dude. Another thing that I heard real quick about the receivers is that the uh the route combinations that he helped plan, even when he was a receivers coach, they were always in the top 10 in Yak. And it wasn't because they had dudes breaking tackles. It was because of the combinations that how he figured out how to get guys open. Um, but and also about the whole he is a puppet. My man has picked his own staff, and there's reports that he reached out to Carson Wentz and Howie and Lurie wanted him to reach out to Carson to get a feel because they literally said it's ultimately up to him if they keep Carson Wentz or not. That doesn't sound like a puppet to me.
well, it's up to Jeffrey Lurie. I mean, it's Jeffrey Lurie's team. But
Oh yeah, but whatever he decides, Jeffrey's going to rock with supposedly.
I mean, we'll see. But with that being said, that's sort of way back burner trying to be negative about that. What you're saying, I agree with. It don't seem like this guy Siriani is some puppet. He's picking his staff, and his staff is. I'm excited about his staff.
Well,
I
they
really
are
like
young as
Gannon.
shit, but
What's that?
they are young as fuck. But yeah,
Look, man. For me, like so, this dude Gannon that they got, Jonathan Gannon.
mm-hmm.
Rising star, works with D-backs. The Colts defensive backs, okay? And prior to that, he worked with the Vikings defensive backs, that Vikings squad we beat in the NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
He took Xavier Rhodes, who the NFL, not just the Vikings, everybody thought he was done. They got him on a vet minimum, and I think he's a Pro Bowl alternate this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now granted, he was a first-round pick. He had a lot of talent, but Temple's Rock Ya-Sin and made him essentially in his rookie season, damn near a Pro Bowl cornerback as well. They have a really good secondary. Not to mention, they have some good pieces at safety, but like they're people that
you could tell they're coached up.
Right. Like with our corners, I feel like what we've seen is that the Rasul Douglases of the world, the Sidney Jones of the world, they leave here and get better. It seems like. Even if you go as far back as like Eric Rowe, who's still playing now. But this guy takes whatever he gets and makes them better. So that way, like, not to say once they leave, they're going to be worse, but he left the Vikings and Xavier Rhodes went from a guy who was considered a top 5 NFC corner to a guy that was about to be out the league.
Yeah, they went to the Colts. There's a reason why sometimes guys go to where they're comfortable, and sometimes he just was able to relate to Xavier Rhodes, and you know what I mean? Because it's coaching, man. It's about coaching, and I think that's what Lurie. I think. All right. Ultimately, I don't think they went into this being like, "Hey, let's look at Nick Siriani. Let's do this." I think because the reports are to go kind of back what we were talking about. The reports were that Jeffrey Lurie wasn't sold on Josh McDaniels, but Howie Roseman was, right? And
Right.
so he was just like, I don't know, kind of type thing, like, man, I don't know. And Howie was in his ear. So Frank Reich gave him a call and said, hey, I have a guy here, blah, blah, blah. Give him an interview. Check him out. So they're like, F it. Why not? Let's bring him in here.
Right.
And he wowed them that they were just like, yo, him, you right here. Yeah. Yep, you're with us. Fuck that. Yeah. Tell Josh thanks, but no thanks. You know what I mean? Sorry, Deuce. But you know what I mean?
And McDaniels would have been very out of character for Lurie just because Lurie doesn't do the coach retrade. He just doesn't.
Yeah, man, he just doesn't. And it's just
Now,
I think we really lucked out by not getting him, to be honest with you, deep down.
I do too. And not to say that McDaniels might eventually go somewhere else and be good. But when he hasn't had Tom Brady, his offenses have been so-so. He did a good job his first year with the Broncos, but was so bad of a communicator that he pushed Jay Cutler out of town, then drafted Tim Tebow way, way, way early. Like
2 to 3 rounds too early.
right, like he kind of set that franchise back a few years. Frank Reich's got to be looking at his staff like, yo, man, I said you could take Nick, you can't take everybody else.
Right, like
it's bananas. But I did want to talk about a little bit about championship weekend.
okay.
As you mentioned, Tampa Bay beat Green Bay, and the Chiefs beat the Bills. So there's a few things that I wanted to touch on. One, I will give Doug Peterson credit. There is no way Doug Peterson is kicking a field goal to go down 5 and giving the ball back to Tom Brady later in the fourth.
That was.
I can't. And Aaron Rodgers, I've heard a few people kind of roast Aaron Rodgers for being upset and not really standing by his coach, because Aaron Rodgers was like, look, man, I don't know that. It wasn't called. Like, what are you supposed to do as a quarterback? You about to win, what is it? This is your third MVP trophy, and you take the ball out of my hands at like 4th and 2 with the game on the line? And with Aaron, he hadn't had a great game. Tom didn't have a great game either, although Tom had his ebbs and flows, just like Aaron did. It was really a quarterback battle where it wasn't everybody. It wasn't a Brady Foles where they're just playing lights out. They both were struggling. Both had threw picks. Both had missed some people. Both had moments where they were like really streaky and just on fire. And like, to me, it looked like it was going to be all right. Aaron Rodgers was going to have a chance to redeem himself. He was, all right, it's 4th down. I could score. And then, we're going to get this 4th down. And we finally take the lead, even though I missed a couple plays to Lazard and the end zone and all that. It all would be forgotten. And they kicked the field goal.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the situation, they should have never kicked the field goal. I personally feel they should have scored on the 3rd down. There wasn't anybody within, even though they were at the 10, there was nobody 15 yards from Aaron Rodgers, and he probably scoots in there and scores.
I agree. He is what, 30, 37?
He's run it before. Like, come on, man. Hey, I don't want to hear that, because if you want it bad enough, you go get it.
Oh, no, I'm not.
John Elway got helicopter at fucking 39 years old, baby. Get the 1st down in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? But you know what? Real quick, what bothers me is when people are like, oh, he should have stood by his coach. Oh, he's this. Bro, football is a very passionate sport.
Especially right after the game.
Yes, you stick a mic, and these media people know what they're doing when they ask these questions right after that. They stick, and Aaron Rodgers is a passionate dude, right? You get what I'm saying? Sorry, I was thinking about something. I was gonna be an asshole, but
you can't just say that and then not say it. You might as well.
So I saw this thing today, and it said, the meme where the dude's sitting there and he has a table and it says "Change my mind."
Yes.
And on the "Change my mind" thing, it said, Aaron Rodgers is Matthew Stafford with a Super Bowl ring.
I mean, listen, I will tell people, and this is for another time. This might be a show that we do in April.
Right.
Donovan McNabb, if he has one ring, they might be talking about how Aaron Rodgers is chasing him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Aaron's had way more weapons. But anyway. So yeah, they know what they're doing. They sticking that mic in front of a passionate player, because Aaron Rodgers is a passionate dude. He always had a fire.
Matt Stafford. I'm sorry, I just had a comment on that. He is the
last. Yeah, it was just funny to me, because it was just like, if you break, I mean, if anything, to me, I would say he's Donovan McNabb with a Super Bowl ring.
And honestly, we're going to.
Because he has been in. This is his 4th NFC Championship game, or 5th?
5. He's 1-4. The only difference between him and McNabb, honestly, there's 2 differences. 1, he won a Super Bowl, and 2, he is 1-4 in NFC Championship games, but he has only lost at home once. Where and where Donovan has lost twice. But
It was his only yesterday was his only time getting a home one.
right, but still, I'm just pointing out the difference.
Yeah.
And
But
I
that's why
know
I said, if anything, you say that he's Donovan McNabb with a Super Bowl ring.
right. I mean, Donovan, he only lost one NFC Championship game where he was the underdog, and I'm curious because Aaron was they were the favorites yesterday.
Yeah.
Obviously with the home field and all that. Donovan was the favorite against the Cardinals, even though they were the 6th seed that year. I'm curious.
Yeah, they were just underdogs against the Rams.
Right. I'm curious to know if Aaron Rodgers was favorites. I would imagine that they were. I think they were
favored last year against San Fran too, I believe.
No, San Fran was the favorite.
Were they? Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
They might have been favorites against Seattle the year with the blunder.
Okay.
But that's here nor there.
Right.
Aaron has a ring, so he's considered one of the greatest of all time. Donovan doesn't, so he probably won't make the Hall of Fame. It's a shame. Just the way it is.
Yeah. Same thing with Drew Brees, but.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just is what it is. And those days of the numbers are gaudy and you're going to get in as a quarterback are over because all quarterbacks get that ended with Dan Fouts.
And you know what? And I'm going to sound like a fucking homer with this. And I don't care. People say what they want. You give Donovan McNabb the weapons that Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers have had over the year outside of 2004. Yeah, Donovan has some hardware.
I'd say Drew Brees, not Aaron. Aaron Rodgers has not had a ton of good weapons. I would actually take Donovan's weapons over Aaron's. I would take Donovan
outside of 2004. Outside of 2004, I would have definitely taken Cobb, Jennings, and Jordy Nelson over fucking Nay Brown, Todd Pinkston, and James Thrash.
But I'm taking Brian Westbrook over any running back they've ever had.
Touche.
I mean, and their offensive line was way better than the Packers' offensive line.
And their defense was better.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's not if you just look receivers, yeah. I mean,
that's what I was referring to.
Valdez-Scantling, I would take over James Thrash. You know what I mean? He's like their 4th receiver. Like,
right.
Listen, Chad Lewis and Brent Selleck were way better tight ends than the guys that they have. Nothing to get this tight end Tomlin looks like he's going to be really, really good. But this is his first year. This is like his breakout party. So,
who was their tight end when they went to the Super Bowl?
Beats me.
It wasn't Bubba Frank still, was it?
I don't know. The fact that we have to think about it. And Bubba Frank, I'm taking Brent Selleck over. I'm taking Chad Lewis over Bubba Franks.
Oh
yeah. We're not even going to continue with that one. But
no.
To the other thing with the Bills and the Chiefs, and not to say the Bills aren't going to continue to be good, but I feel the Bills are either going to go one or two ways here. The Bills are going to go, I think, the way of hopefully better than, but the Packers and the Saints, where they had this nice run, and this was, even though the game wasn't close, it was still kind of heartbreaking to see them lose. And then the following year, or the next, or like 2 years later, they end up in the Super Bowl and they just are consistently good. Or they're the Blake Bortles Jaguars.
I would not say they're the Blake Bortles Jaguars. But I don't, because it's going to get tougher. And I know it's definitely going to get tougher because I still think Baltimore is going to be a team to compete with. But the Ravens are going to be a team to compete with. The Colts are going to be a team to compete with. The Chiefs are still going to be the Chiefs up here. I'm interested to see, with people coming back in New England and them actually having somewhat of a quarterback, how they would look.
Here's the interesting thing with the AFC, which, by the way, shout out to Andy Reid. I think he's going to win a second straight Super Bowl, but I think it's going to be a really, really good game. I think, once again, Tampa Bay has a very underrated defense. So
yeah.
they're going to make things a little difficult for them, and they got a lot of young guys. Sometimes you need young guys who are just not going to care and take some chances because when you play calculated against the Chiefs, you're going to lose. Like it's just with the talent.
It's like, here's the thing. Like Tampa Bay, they allowed to come back a little bit, and they were able to get hands on these receivers. On
I
those
want to
Green
get to
Bay
that point in
receivers.
a second.
But they not getting hands on Tyreek Hill, bro.
Yeah,
He's like fast for no reason. Like why is his setting so high? Why you changed him to a 99?
You changed his speed. Madden, his speed of 100 on Madden's too slow.
Right, like
and I was joking around, for us gamblers out there, Travis Kelce's over/under was like 9 catches. Now, understand something. 9 catches is a lot of catches to get in general, okay? My man had that like midway through the second quarter. Like, it was just like, what is going on? But with all that being said, you have made a point that you hope this becomes a rivalry because you could see that the Buffalo players.
You saw the chippiness.
There was a lot of pride there. There was a lot of, I understand you on your home field, but y'all being disrespectful right now.
Right. And then you saw Diggs, and then they showed Diggs at the end, which I saw today on Twitter. Like Diggs stood there and just watched the Chiefs celebrate.
Right. Well, remember, Diggs did the same thing in Philly.
Yeah, he did. He did, didn't he?
So Diggs, now this
he didn't learn his lesson.
Well, the biggest thing with Diggs is that he has a way better quarterback. Josh Allen is not Case Keenum.
No, God, no.
Which, oddly enough, a few years ago, Josh Allen looked like he was going to be the next Blake Bortles.
Yeah, he was. I mean, but last year, even though last year he did so, he played good in the first half against Houston, and then he started doing dumb shit. Like he started like flattering the ball. I don't know.
Yeah,
pitching the ball back to.
I think with this, Buffalo played like a team who hadn't been there before, and against a team that's just the Chiefs are just a machine, man.
Chiefs are just that damn good, man. There's too many weapons. Okay, so you play a safety over the top. Just say they take away Hill. Okay, so that means you're literally taking a safety in the corner. So then you got now you got to have a linebacker, or you need to take a linebacker off the field and bring another corner to try to guard Kelce. Okay, so but you got to double team him. So now you got a linebacker, him, boom. Okay, then you got the other receiver. I forget his name off the top of my head.
Sammy Watkins.
Watkins. You got him 1-on-1.
Not to mention the Cole Hartman that can run crazy too.
Hartman, because I think Watkins didn't play yesterday. But
he didn't play yesterday, no. But he should be ready by the Super Bowl.
Right, but so you got Hartman, right? Okay, 1-on-1, the speedster. All right. Even if you take all that away, here comes the screen game and the pass to Hilaire out of the backfield. What the fuck?
So, 5-pack of questions. I wanted to get into some stuff. I've not discussed these with you, but they are things that we kind of have discussed throughout the week. We'll be posting on Facebook too throughout the week. Give your answers because I'm curious to see. Some of these are going to be a little bit more long-winded than others. All right. So, first one, we'll start you off with a toughie.
Oh shit.
You could give a ring to one person, okay? Any sport. One person. Who would it be?
A championship ring to one person in any sport.
Right. To me, now I've had time to think about this, it would be Allen Iverson, but I'm also picking Allen Iverson over Charles Barkley. I'm picking Allen Iverson over.
So you're saying Philly sports or any sport?
Just Philly. I'm attached to Philly, so I'm picking AI over Brian Dawkins, but I'm also picking AI over Dan Marino.
Well, ooh.
I'm also thinking, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it could be any sport. I'm also, like, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, like baseball greats that didn't win.
Know what? Know who I'll go? Because since you said his name, that's who I was going to say. I'll go with somebody else. Barry Sanders.
Barry's a good one. You could have went with Marino. I mean, it's a good question because if you stick with just basketball, just football, you kind of narrow it down a little bit.
Right. I wanted to think outside of Philly sports.
Right.
So I was,
But Barry's a good one. Your favorite Super Bowl that did not include the Eagles?
Well, there was only one because the other ones were heartbreaking. That had the
Yeah.
Eagles in them.
I mean, you know, yeah.
You want to know what? You know what? Probably I have two. I know you said my favorite, but I have a 1A and 1B.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Was I believe it was the 89, it was 88 or 88 Super Bowl with San
Bengals
Fran and the
Niners
Bengals Niners,
with the drive.
and
Well, not John Elway's drive, but the
yeah, yeah. And more recent, it was a while ago, but it was the '08 Super Bowl, Pittsburgh and Cardinals. That was a good Super Bowl, man. That
quick
was a good
story.
game.
I was
Huh?
I was so hurt. I was so hurt by the Eagles not beating the Cardinals. I didn't watch the '08 Super Bowl until 2 years ago.
Really?
I literally sat there and watched, I lied to you not, on Super Bowl Sunday. I sat at home and watched the marathon of that show House about the doctor.
Ah,
I did not see that Super Bowl until 2 years ago.
wow.
And I was like, damn, that's the Super Bowl.
That Super Bowl live was insane. Because my thing was I wasn't even mad. I was mad that we lost, but it was like almost like, yo, we playing with house money. So it was just like I kind of when they lost, I kind of had the same feeling I did when we lost at 0-1.
See, to me, when we lost, I knew it was the end of an era. That's what I was like.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, it's
yeah.
you know, but for me, and I think it's partly because I was young, partly because it was so good, and partly because of the fact it was the last Super Bowl me and my dad watched together, even though my dad didn't like football. Titans Rams '99
That was a good one.
that ended on the 1 yard line. That to me, it was, and the one behind that, even though it's still a bonehead play, I was at a party, and it was one of those things where I thought I was drunk. Like I thought I did not see what I just saw, that I had too much to drink. That was the Seahawks Patriots with the interception at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I literally saw it and was like, "Yo, I'm fucking drunk." Nah, man. Like
Another good one, even though it's in our division, was the first Giants Patriots game with the helmet kit.
Yes, that was a really good one too.
That was a fun one too.
Yeah. Now the second Giants Patriots one, I was actually in New York for that one.
Right.
Which I can say, I don't care what you say, Giants fans. There were several Giants fans that were more concerned about who the Yankees were going to sign than that Super Bowl. Yeah, New York is a total baseball town.
Right.
They like the Giants, but honestly, people in Jersey like the Giants more than people in New York.
Right.
But that's here nor there. Damn, that was still the first question. Oh, that was the second one. Okay. His favorite Super Bowl in the ring thing. I was like, damn.
Second question. Yeah.
So, one free agent, if you could sign one free agent to the Eagles this year, who would it be? And we don't know all of them, but just out of curiosity. And to me right now, not knowing all the people who would get cut or whatever, I would love to see big trust on this team, man. I'd like to see Mark Ingram as a change of pace back. I think he would do a lot for the squad.
If I had to choose one, I would probably go with Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson's a good answer too. Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably go with Allen Robinson. That would save us from. I know they're good young receivers, but it's not like Allen Robinson's old, and I think that would really help.
This makes absolutely no sense what I'm about to say, but I kind of don't want another Bears wide receiver right now.
I feel you.
I'm a little squirrely about that.
But he's a lot. He handled things, and he wasn't as he wasn't as bad as Alshon was in Chicago. And what I mean by that, by like going to the media and
right.
Yeah, Allen Robinson has kind of kept his head down and just kept it moving. So
to me,
like Allen Robinson, I would like that, and then this way we could draft Patrick Surtain.
To me, I was a huge Alshon Jeffrey fan. I wanted us to find a way to draft him when he was coming out of South Carolina. Like I was
excited when I was at work when I found out. We got him in free agency, and I remember I was unloading the truck, and I was like, "Yo, we got Alshon!" Like, you know what I mean? So,
listen, man, the two people I was most excited about that we got as free agents as recently, and one, Alshon did help us get a Super Bowl. He's a big part of that, so that's fine.
Absolutely.
And the other one was Nnamdi. I was
Bro, I
pumped.
was so pumped. I had Raiders fans like texting me like, "Y'all took my boy, fuck you, blah 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 blah." Yeah,
Now he's doing
off
B.
Broadway, ain't he? He's doing off
Nah,
Broadway.
he just did an Amazon exclusive movie that he produced apparently. So I mean, listen, man, he's doing his thing. It is what it is. But the now NBA, the Sixers are now the top team in the East. Okay, they're doing their thing. Ben Simmons is starting to look like a beast again, which is great. My man, if you watch the past couple games, my man been super aggressive, like F it.
Last game, I didn't think he was like that the game before.
That the game before that, they took over the fourth quarter. But anyway, that's here or there. Um, he's not a beast like Embiid. Embiid's going to be MVP if
Yeah,
he takes over.
MVP,
Yeah.
MVP.
You know, if they don't give it to LeBron just cause. So with that being said, you would think I was going to ask what NBA player you felt deserved the MVP. Nah. I'm going to go a different route.
Okay.
Your favorite NBA player that you watched that should have been way better than what his career ended up being. And in this one, I
Now,
had to.
now, is it because of it? Now, is it just because he just never?
It could be injury, it could be drugs, it could be attitude, it could be whatever. It could just be bad coaching. So I'm going to give one of my two. One of my two was Sean Kemp.
Yeah, that was one of mine.
You know, Sean Kemp, I thought Sean Kemp could have been considered one of the greatest power forwards of all time if he would have kept his head on straight and kind of kept the weight down a little bit. And even in Cleveland, when he had blown up, you still saw like the potential there, and he made an all-star team.
I'm gonna say one. A lot of people don't know about. Um, his career kind of got ended before it really took off, but he showed how good he could be in the '93 playoffs for the Sun was Richard Dumas. Richard Dumas was athletic. He could really ball, but
All the people you went, Richard Dumas?
he had a cocaine problem and he had an alcohol problem. I listened to a podcast not that long ago, and he said he would have to actually drink a 12 pack before every game.
I gotta be honest, I don't even know who Richard Dumas is.
Bro, he played for the Suns. Go back and watch I think he was like a rookie or second year player. Bro, oh my God, yo, he balled the fuck out for the Suns. Yo, he was dunking on cats. Oh my God, Richard Dumas, yo, for the Suns. That '93 season, he was a very integral part in helping Barkley get to that finals, yo, for real. Another, and then I'll probably say you took him, so I'll go another route.
By the way, there's a lot that you can name, so I'm curious to see what people put on
Facebook. But there's one that I just felt so bad for because I think he would have been this generation's AI, and that's Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose is big, and he's a shell of himself. He's trying, but he's a shell of himself.
Yeah, I mean he's still a good player. People look at him like he's still good. No, you could shit, Derrick Rose. Woo, man.
Yeah,
LeBron, listen, LeBron doesn't win no fucking championships in the East if Derrick Rose stays healthy. I put my house mortgage on that shit.
He did beat him in the playoffs when he had him and Joakim Noah and stuff. He was just starting out, but
right. But I'm saying like the year we beat them, the 2 years we beat them back to back.
Oh, they were the one seed. And, the first year.
Yeah.
And, See, the other guy for me that I thought of that I don't understand what the hell happened was Nick Van Exel. Nick Van Exel, to me, should have been like a premier point guard, and he had all the talent in the world, but I felt like he just would rather be kind of like an and one dude than the guy like.
Yeah, he had his moments. Yeah, he definitely.
But I mean, there's a few you could name. You can name Jason Williams or Baron Davis. They're kind of in that same mold.
Right.
Petrovic from the Nets.
Bro, Josh,
Drazen, yeah.
Yo, he was getting ready to be that big. Yo, he was getting ready to be the Dirk Nowitzki before Dirk Nowitzki, yo.
Right, and that documentary that Vlade Divac did, that's a good documentary if you guys haven't seen it. It's been out for now.
That hits in the fields, bro, for real.
Yeah, especially not to ruin it, but Vlade actually goes back to an area that he wasn't welcomed in for something you thought Philly fans took sports seriously. Yo, like, it's a good documentary. It's been around for a while, but check it out, ESPN Plus, or find it online because it's been on for a while.
Right.
But there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, and it was curious because NBA is really kind of getting back to the point to me where it's a lot of fun. And I was just thinking
Yeah,
of
it is.
those players that I was just like, man, like, kind of what happened to them? Why didn't they,
Right.
So I'm curious to see your responses on that. And the last thing, this is going to take up a bulk of time. Okay. Royal Rumble is this Sunday.
Okay.
Very, very smart that WWE has the Royal Rumble in between the championship game and the Super Bowl.
Yes.
We were talking about top 10 wrestlers of all time.
Last night, yes.
Last night. Now, I'm going to ask about 6 through 10 because we kind of had a top 5 where we mentioned Hogan, Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Triple H, and was the 5th one Shawn Michaels?
Yeah.
So you might be able to, put Undertaker over Michaels or what have you. But
no, I would put Undertaker see, it's a difference. So you said the Impact, because at first it started off at Impact, and then
that's what I mean. When I say wrestler, I don't mean just technique. I mean impact, everything. So like Hogan honestly didn't have huge wrestling technique, but Hulkamania just was huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And Flair is fucking Flair.
Right. Ric Flair, same thing. So like we're not talking about most technical wrestlers because people like Bret Hart would probably be up there.
Because honestly, if I had a top 5, like if I really, really did my top 5, it would probably go in this order: Ric Flair number 1, Shawn Michaels number 2, just overall everything wrestling. Right. But Ric Flair number 1, Shawn Michaels number 2, Hogan 3. I would probably put Taker 4th and Triple H 5th.
Okay, so
and then put Dusty 6th.
So my question: we're going with a top 5 that leaves Taker out. Okay, for now.
Okay.
What is 6 through 10? Because I feel 6 through 10 is a little harder. So
we'll take Taker out.
So we'll make Taker 5B. So okay. 6 through 10. So that second tier of wrestlers, who would be your favorites? Because you got a lot of people. I mean, you got some current people. Not favorites, best. Because I'm not a John Cena fan, but it's hard not to include John Cena with the impact that he had. Some younger people might include Roman Reigns, even though you're not a Roman Reigns fan. The fact that he has essentially been the, no pun intended, top dog for damn near 10 years, you might not. They're not in mine. I'm just putting people out there. And I'll start it off. I personally think in no particular order, Chris Jericho got to be in my top 10 for me. I do think John Cena's in there too. It just on impact alone, let alone the stuff that he did. And I think a lot of people forget how good he actually was. And I'm thinking out loud. I don't have these written down just to be so there might be where I have to kind of backtrack a little bit.
So we're going 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 5 guys.
There's 5 guys, and I'm just naming a few. I'm probably going to name more than 5 and then have to narrow it down. But I mentioned John Cena. I mentioned Chris Jericho. Bret Hart got to be up there. But then you also got Randy Savage. Well, then you got Ultimate Warrior, if you want to include Ultimate Warrior in there. Then you got, some of the people like Seth Rollins, who's doing it now. You got Sting, you got Goldberg. You got, there's AJ Styles.
Guys, yeah, AJ Styles. I'm going to be honest with you. Jericho's probably not even in my – Jericho's probably more in my top 20 than he is even in my top 10.
Really? Okay.
Because I'll name 5 guys right off the top of my head right now. Sting, Bret Hart, Austin, Rock, and Cena.
See, I think overall, Jericho might have a bigger impact than Sting.
No. Mm-mm.
Because I think Jericho is a better wrestler,
Uh,
and I think Jericho. I don't think
Better wrestler, absolutely.
I don't know if Sting got a lot of help from Ric Flair from
No,
what,
no, but see, I remember when Sting came up. You get what I'm saying? Like
and that's
I
the thing too.
remember it.
Is Sting? I mean, Sting when he was big, man, my age was in single digits, so you know my
I remember Sting in the AWA when he was teaming he was called something. He was called the Dingo Warrior, and they were the Blade Runners. Like I
no, the Dingo
remember that.
Warrior was Ultimate Warrior. That was
Yes,
Sting.
that's what I'm saying. But that's
Oh,
what
he
I
was
mean.
partnering with Ultimate Warrior.
Yes, they were the Blade
Gotcha.
Runners.
Yeah.
They were part of Hot Stuff International. So that little a group. So I remember that. So you're talking Sting. You Jericho impacted like me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like my age group, your age group, and a lot of younger people. And I'm not trying to discredit Jericho. Jericho,
No, no, no. It's different from all of us because we're different
right?
age groups.
But Sting, yeah, but Sting was huge in the 80s, huge in the 90s, huge in the 2000s, and people recognize him in 2010s as well. So, and now he's back in AEW into the 2020s. So, you know what I mean?
Right. I
Um,
mean, like here's interesting. You look at someone like AJ Styles, where AJ Styles is the prototypical. You can grind from the independents and make it.
bro, bro. But AJ Styles, not just the independents, AJ Styles, listen, 1,000% what you just said. He grinded hard in the independents, but he really, I vaguely remember him a little bit and saw some talent because he was there like the last like year of WCW, and you saw some of the talent, and that's where I remember him from. And then he just really blew up in New Japan. That's where
Right.
he really cut his teeth, like, and made a name for himself. And then TNA came along and stuff like that. But yeah,
But
and
he
then
wasn't
like you
that great
still,
in TNA.
huh?
He wasn't that great in TNA. He was decent as a wrestler, but so in the mic.
I mean, but by the time he left TNA, he was like the main dude
That's not
in
saying
TNA.
much,
Yeah, that is very true.
you know.
But I'm just saying he was. He was
But yeah, I mean, like, but
top
you
dog in
saw
TNA.
you actually saw the build up with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, it's interesting though. Like I said, Royal Rumble's coming up, and I think that you would have trouble if anyone who's a wrestling fan out there, even a casual wrestling fan, you're going to have trouble coming up with even a top 20, let alone a top 10.
Oh
And
yeah, because you'll sit there and be like, oh, you know what? What about this guy?
well, here's the thing: wrestling, even if you don't, people who don't realize it, is such a cultural icon of things and permeates so many things. Like people bring up Aaron Rodgers the first time they played the Bucks this year when they went up 10-0, then they got blown out. When he scored that touchdown, did like the ravishing Rick Rude dance. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And like then they got blown out. But like Rick Rude is never really on anybody's top 20, you know, for what but like the stuff that he did, the stuff that Randy Savage, like when you hear a woo or you hear somebody, oh yeah, or you know, you think of a Slim Jim or like the Rick Rude stuff, like those guys, and it's a shame, you know, Rick Flair's still with us, the other two are gone, but like their stuff is still with us with people like your son who might not ever seen them at a live event. You know what I mean?
right.
Like,
But and I know we just named a bunch of people, but there's one that we still haven't named yet, which I once again this is not a knock on Jericho, which I put above Jericho.
Brock Lesnar.
No, he was my favorite. He's the reason I became rooting for heels at a very young age. Roddy Piper.
Roddy
Like,
Piper's another one. Yes.
you know what I'm saying? You hear bagpipes, you instantly think of Roddy Piper.
And that's the crazy thing. Like people who aren't even big wrestling fans, you hear bagpipes, and that's what you think of if you're not thinking of, you know, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it's so crazy how much of a cultural impact wrestling has. And that's interesting. I mean, does it have as much impact with some of the newer guys now? Not as much, but not many things do just because there's so many channels and so many things. Um, But like you look at stuff where whether it's the Undertaker or Hogan or like I said, Macho Man Randy Savage or even Mr. Perfect,
Mr.
who
Perfect,
you
yeah.
know, um, those got like the impact, Shawn Michaels and all of them. It's just crazy to me the cultural impact that those guys had that I don't know if they really
And
get
there's somebody else too, man. He just kind of he would disappear, come back, disappear, come back. Was another one where till this day you watch him and Flair go at it. It's still some of the best wrestling matches with Steamboat. You know what
Steamboat.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
Ricky
like
Steamboat was he wasn't very good on the mic though.
if I had to do a 6 through 10 in no particular order, which is technically 7 through 11 because Undertaker's there. I mean, I have to include Jericho. I got to include Randy Savage. I would have to put in Sting. I would have to put in The Rock, and I'd have to put in Stone Cold. And that's with me leaving out Bret Hart, who is arguably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, technique-wise.
He was good on the mic. He just didn't get enough credit.
Right. You know, my favorite, oddly, my favorite bad guy growing up, and it's because of the fact growing up, so I didn't really fully understand what Flair was doing. I couldn't appreciate what he was doing. Was, believe it or not, Razor Ramon, like when he was bad. You know, I love just that whole. It's super cheesy when you look back at it, but it appealed to me. But I just thought it'd be an interesting exercise with the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen. Yeah, it's just, bro, like so many things. Like you said, the icons. There's just so many things. It's just, man, like you just think about, and then there's other people like, and this is where like me and you like the generation thing. Like you don't remember when really Sting like when he was coming in, and or like the Barry Windhams when they were coming up, or the Lex Lugers, or I mean you
Right.
remember them, but like when they were actually agile, mobile, doing shit,
Right.
and
Like, and here's the
Nikita
thing.
Koloff, like, oh my God, bro,
Right.
what?
And here's
Nikita
the
was
thing.
that dude.
You know, I just named the 5, like I said, and I excluded Bret Hart.
Roddy Piper.
I excluded Roddy Piper. I excluded Iron Sheik. I excluded Jake the Snake Roberts. I didn't include Mankind. I didn't include, like, you know, there are people who
Guerrero,
what's that?
Benoit, Guerrero,
Guerrero
Benoit.
and Benoit. Like, that's 7 people that you could arguably switch out almost any.
Yeah, they're very interchangeable.
This first month of 2021 is done, basically, and it flew by. Enjoy the Royal Rumble if you get a chance to check it out. We talk about the Super Bowl the following week, and you know, there's a lot to be excited about in Philly. Okay, I know the Flyers have had some bad games, but the Phillies might actually re-sign JT Realmuto, which I thought was a done deal that we weren't going to get him. The Sixers are the top team in the Eastern Conference, even though it's early. We're a quarter away through the season, you know, and the Eagles just got a whole new coaching staff that's going to bring a whole new attitude in here.
Yeah.
That is stuff to be excited about. So don't let any type of negativity and just talk about Carson Wentz, which is, you know, regardless of how you feel about that, people always want to focus on that dude when there's so much greater stuff going on.
Right.
Like, don't let little stuff like that, not saying that Carson Wentz is little, but don't let that ruin all the other excitement.
Right. And let's bring back Prism Sports.
Bring back Prism Sports. BBP.
Yes, BBP. Yes.
All right, y'all. Have a good week. Look for us on Facebook. We'll be putting more and more stuff up there. And I'm going to see a 5-pack of questions, too, your answers for that. And we'll announce the winners. We'll announce some of the answers that you guys put up next week as well.